I'm Elspeth Vinyl from Custom Strength, and I'd just like to show you an example of why it is you have to be really careful what someone is doing or how someone is doing an exercise and how an exercise feels versus just what they're doing. So this is something that came up on the Strength Coach Forum the other day, and we're talking about a straight leg raise. Now they're doing a seated one, sitting down, straight leg raise, trying to get the hips working a little better. So I'm going to show you a standing version of that, and I'm going to show you one version. So I'll actually just show it to you and you can tell me see. So it's going to look like this. Standing here, I've got the shirt tucked in so you can see the waistline and see what the hips are doing if they're shifting. So just a raise. We're going to do a few second hold. And do 3 one side, 3 the other. And so you probably noticed, so on this side, you could argue that it's a little bit too hard. So the idea that I can do this exercise, right? I did it. You all saw it. On this side, there's a little bit of a hip hike. I'm going to say a very mild one, but you might argue that's too much of one, in which case we should reduce the difficulty on that side. This one, there's definitely a hip hike. The other thing is, so this one's an exercise that's going to work hip flexors and quads. On this side, it works a bit of both. On this side, it's entirely quad. I feel nothing in here. So pretty much I've got, oblique or QL pulling in over here, I've got quad working here, and I've got probably hip flexor doing very little. So as a corrective exercise to help my hip flexors work better, that's not cutting it for me, or at least not on this side where I seem to have limitation with that. So I guess the key being, when you're giving someone an exercise, it's not a question just like, can they do it? Can they do it properly? How are they doing it? And what are they feeling? Because sometimes it'll actually look fine, but when you ask them what they're feeling, it's not what you're expecting at all, in which case they're not doing it properly. So for me, if I was a client of mine, I would say something like, let's shorten the lever. That's one of the great ways of regressing something. So now I'm going to do it bent knee. I'm going to try it standing, and I would argue that's pretty square. Let's try this side. So this side, square-ish. There's still a little bit of something. So my second regression on this is one I like to try. So I'll actually pull the heel up and then lift the toes up. So instead of just lifting up, which is a harder initial move, I will move into the range I want and then pull the toes off. I would even say this is still not perfect, and I should be regressing to a seated version instead of a standing version on this side. This side doesn't even really need, like the seated version on this side doesn't do much, so you can make an argument for just not doing that, or do the advanced one on this one for a while and catch up by doing extra sets on this one. But I'll just say, pay attention to what it looks like, ask them how it feels, because the exercise might not be doing what you think it's doing.